Hello and welcome to this video walking through some of the sample reports which we have in our Clear Analytics trial installation. So, to first launch Clear Analytics, once you've installed it, go to the Start menu, go to All Programs, Clear Analytics, and launch the Clear Analytics Startup. This will fire up Excel and automatically log you into Clear Analytics and highlight the Clear Analytics ribbon. So let's open up the Report Explorer panel by hitting the Report Explorer button. Here you can see our sample reports are under Public, and we don't necessarily need to run these reports as our samples have already been pre-run. So let's navigate to the Results tab, where we can see that the report has been run for a couple of dates. Here you can see it's for January 20th and January 21st. So to open up a report, you simply double click on one. So let's open up the hedge fund report. So when we double click on that report, it automatically opens it up and refreshes the data for the date specified, which in this case was January 20th. Now, if we wanted to see what this information looks like, refreshed for a different date, we simply select a different date in our active reports, let's say the 21st over here, select Go, and we'll automatically bring in the data for the 21st and dynamically update everything on the spreadsheet. Here in the Active Reports tab, you can see that we've got three elements here which have been refreshed. Now, if I wanted to take a look at the data individually, I can actually expand that hedge fund report and look at the individual elements within here. In fact, I could expand that even further and actually drag and drop these elements onto the sheet. So let's first move this pivot table by simply dragging and dropping it onto the spreadsheet. I'm now just going to populate this pivot table with a few items of data. Another option is for me to actually create graphical charts as well. So let me just create a new sheet here, and I'm going to drag and drop my chart across. Now, once the chart is on the spreadsheet, it's actually a native Excel control. So if I wanted to make modifications or choose a different chart type, I can simply leverage Excel to make the necessary changes to how I would like to lay out my chart. Now, let's open up another report. So let's double click on Feedback Analysis here. Again, we open up the spreadsheet which dynamically updates its data. Now let's click through these elements here in the Active Reports tab. You can see that they highlight the items on the spreadsheet accordingly. And in fact, we can get more meta information about this data by simply expanding it further. Here you can see unit and project were not filtered, but we have filtered based on a couple of dates. Again, refreshing is just a matter of selecting a different date, hitting Go, and here you can see we've refreshed the sheet and we've got a little bit more data into there. Again, we don't restrict on the number of sheets, so this report has a couple of sheets there. Let's expand this report and again drag and drop the underlying elements onto the spreadsheet. And let me just build out one or two items within here. One important thing to note is that Clear Analytics has knowledge about all of these elements which are on the spreadsheet. So this particular pivot table here, if I wanted to have this refreshed for a different date, we still have the meta information behind the scenes to do so. So let me just pick the 21st and hit refresh, and here you can see we've now dynamically updated this pivot table which we only just drag and dropped moments ago with a different set of data coming from a different date. A further thing to note is you may notice that the feedback results dataset is a different color to some of these other datasets. The feedback results is red. And that's actually because this is actually a data share and not necessarily data coming from the database. And I'll explain on that a little bit later. Let's open up this third report now, a slightly cryptic name, the FSA 047 report. In fact, this is a real-world regulatory report which certain businesses do have to provide to the SEC. And this particular sample demonstrates how Clear Analytics can fetch data from many different sources and dynamically update this spreadsheet completely hands-free, eliminating any potential for manual errors which could potentially lead to regulatory penalties. Let's now open our final sample report, which is our holdings report. And here you can see that this particular spreadsheet is leveraging a few additional dashboarding items which are available within Excel. So we have some sliders over here which we could happily select to dynamically filter all the elements here within the spreadsheet. We also have some spark lines as well, which are based off the pivot table just to its left. I would now like to spend a moment or two talking about data share. So we noticed that the feedback analysis report had data coming from a data share, which is actually user maintained information. So here, clicking on the data share button brings up the panel here, and you can see we have a couple of pre-canned sample data shares here. So this is for you to just leverage straight away. If you want to see how you can create your own data share, we have a separate video which you could see on our website. If you wanted to add data to a data share, you could use the append feature to be able to key in or copy and paste data. Another option is for you to edit the data which is already inside the data share. One thing to note is that we do have some error checking. So if you put in erroneous values different to the data type, we will actually mark them as invalid and prevent you from putting that data in until it's corrected. And hitting the save button will basically save a new version of that data share where all subsequent reports which leverage that data share will now pick up those changes. Now let's talk about the repository. This contains all of the queries which actually make up our sample reports. Feel free to double click on any one of these to see what makes up these queries. In this particular one, you can see that we're using the hedge fund database, and we've selected all of the entities which are within the trial balance folder. If you want to sneak a little bit deeper under the hood, you can actually click on the SQL button and actually see the SQL generated by Clear Analytics. Obviously something an average business user need not know about. If you would like to know more about how to create your own queries, we have a separate video available for you to be able to do that. This pretty much concludes our video on showing you the sample reports within our Clear Analytics trial version. We encourage you to give them a play and feel free to contact us if you require any further information. Thank you.